Hey everyone, it's Keith. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you're having a good weekend so far. I know that you're staying nice and warm. It's finally starting to feel like winter here in Iowa. Today we're going to talk about Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I can't believe I said that title with a straight face. I really hate that subtitle. Jumanji 2, as I'm going to call it for the rest of this video, is directed by Jake Kasdan. It stars Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, and Jack Black, and is a soft reboot of the Jumanji franchise. It is technically in canon with the 1995 Robin Williams film, but it really has nothing to do with it. You don't need to see that movie to watch this one. And I haven't seen that Robin Williams movie since I rented it once on VHS when I was younger. I didn't really care for it then. So going into this one, I really don't remember anything of that, and still follow this one perfectly fine. The movie follows four teenagers who, during a stint in detention, get sucked into the Jumanji video game, and the four actors that I mentioned become their avatars. So the nerdy lead character Spencer becomes the hulking Dwayne Johnson, and the large football player becomes the not large Kevin Hart. The shy, I don't want to say nerdy, I don't think she's a nerdy girl, becomes the badass Karen Gillan, and the self-centered popular girl becomes Jack Black. Together, they have to band together to complete the tasks in the video game so that they can escape back to the real world. The movie comes out just before Christmas, and if you're sitting around with your family trying to come up with something to do after you've opened your presents or whatever, you can do a lot worse than seeing Jumanji 2. It's a solid, family-friendly for the most part, action comedy. The movie's greatest asset is definitely its four main actors. Dwayne Johnson, of course, leads the way. You can tell he's having a lot of fun playing against type. He's a very timid, scaredy cat type character who has to rise to the occasion, and he and the other three leads have great chemistry. They all have their moments to shine. I thought going into the movie that Karen Gillan's character would maybe get lost in the shuffle because she's definitely the least famous of all four actors, but that's very much not the case. It's very evenly distributed, I think, among the four leads as far as them all contributing to the movie and all having something to do and all having character arcs. So good on this movie for not just making, one or any of the characters, be background. Kevin Hart is probably the weak link as far as the cast go. A little bit more on that later. Not to say he did a bad job, but I'll have a little bit more to say that in the bad section of the review. The movie has a lot of fun with the idea of being stuck in a video game. There's lots of video game tropes that you'll see along the way. They have fun with them, and the action in the movie is, for the most part, well shot. There's some parts in the movie, especially when the characters start getting into hand-to-hand combat with the enemy characters, that it gets a little choppy. That's bound to happen, of course. We're not talking about a Hong Kong action flick here where the actors actually know how to fight. This is very common among action movies that it's a lot of quick cutting to hide the fact that these people don't know how to fight. But again, for the most part, director Jake Kasdan does a good job of shooting the action. You can always tell what's happening, so I don't want to rag on that too much. But of course, it's not a perfect movie. It feels just a touch too long. I'd say cut out maybe 10-ish minutes of it and it'd feel just right. I could even point to some parts to totally cut out. I won't mention what they are here. Other than that, again, I mentioned that Kevin Hart is probably the weakest link among the cast. Again, not to say that he's did a bad job, because I think he does do a good job. He's funny. He got some laughs out of me. The thing that I'm going to mention, though, the reason I'm saying that he's the weakest link is that he and his real life counterpart don't feel like the same character. He's doing his, Kevin Hart is doing his big, loud thing that he does in all of his movies, which is fine. But in the real world, that character isn't like that at all. You get no hints that that's who that person is. The other actors do a fine enough job of portraying their teenager versions. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what the disconnect was with Kevin Hart. Bobby Cannavale from HBO's short-lived series Vinyl plays the movie's villain, which, good casting by the way. And he does a great job, but there are scenes in the movie where we completely cut away from our group of heroes and we see what the villain and his henchmen are up to at the moment. I don't know why we're doing that. Considering that we're inside of a video game, it doesn't really make sense for there to be a villains doing stuff scene. I thought that the first time that it happened, that it was going to show the scene and then cut back to our leads and have them go, did you guys see that? Did you see what the bad guys are up to? That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for this movie. There's a part where they each touch their chest and a menu pops up in front of them and they see their different abilities, which is neat. So they totally could have done a cutscene. It's just weird that they put those villain scenes in there, because the movie would work completely without them. In the end, this movie is a fun action flick that's not terribly memorable. Not that that's the worst thing in the world. And you should definitely check it out if you like any of those cast members, or if you're just looking for a fun action flick to take your family with for Christmas. And Jumanji 2, Welcome to the Jungle, gets a 7 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thumbs up or thumbs down it. Subscribe if you'd like. I don't know what I'm reviewing next, but I hope I see you next time, and take care until then.